party people. I'm back, coming to you with some more, information. And this, information is going to be direct towards the black community. This is a wake up call. You have a lot of the mainstream media talking against being able to be woke, and that alone should arouse your suspicions about what it is that they're really talking about. Because we can't just listen to what they say on face value. We actually have to go deeper than that so that we can get the other side of the message that's being sent. And so I'm going to go down a list of things that the next upcoming videos, will be about. And one of the things that is first on the list is that both parties are not good, for the black community. So when I see pundits, on television, and I see people on YouTube standing for either, party, as if, democracy is on the line if you don't vote for either one of these, groups, it really makes me sad, because it just shows the level of mental degradation that's happened, in our community. And I really do fault Christianity, for a lot of that. So I'll be talking about that, more. And I'm going to share a video from Brother Malcolm X. Even though I don't believe in, religion, I still try to take whatever positive from information, just information broadly, that I can. And that will include, some information, coming through and from a platform such as, Christianity, or even through our brother Malcolm, Islam. And so we got both parties, we got media, we got Christianity. The fourth thing is crime. Black people are going to have to stop committing crime. It's going to be challenging. It's going to be, a lesson in being frugal, with our money and with our resources. But it's also going to give us an opportunity to share, with one another. So if you have things that you can share with those in the community, so that, the youth can get what they need and still be able to meander in and out of society without feeling outcast. Because, if they don't have certain things, and even during my day, it was seen as a real sign of poverty if you actually didn't have certain things. And you parents, know what I'm talking about. You don't have to go into excess, but you still want to make sure that your child stays on the cusp of what's happening in society, so that they can have more confidence, about themselves when they're out amongst their peers, and even those who are ignorant, about their culture and who they are and what they stand on. So when they have more confidence, they have the ability to articulate themselves in a way that can actually help them, in certain situations that if they were ignorant, of, then they would actually be more of a victim. So we want to put our children in a position to succeed. So those things that can be, donated, or can be, traded with one another, especially for those, who have more, it's more required. If you've got 5,000 cars and you walking around talking to people that don't have one car, do you really think that the Lord is going to bless you in the afterlife? This is your blessing. The fact that you had, garages full of cars, that you can even bother to take one of those cars and give, 50 families, a car. These are the kind of things, you can do that if that's what you want to do. But, how are you going to be able to stand before the Lord and say that you're justified in getting in His kingdom when you don't want to do anything for the people in His kingdom? So a lot of Christians, they make me sick, because they actually worship wealth, and they reward wealth, instead of, really using that money, to put back into their communities so that they can be safer, so that the children can be safer, so that we can become more educated. It's all about a me mentality, and it really has made a serious negative impact, on the community as a result. And Christianity has had a lot, to do with that. So, and crime, you know, we want to, teach our children why crime does not pay. In the short term, it seems as if it will. But long term, no. What it does is destroy, communities. It destroys lives. And once you get inside of that system, it's just like quicksand. We don't talk about quicksand, and people don't really know, like the younger generation. I would say after definitely after 1990. I don't even think if you told them what quicksand was, they wouldn't know what it is. And that was something that was regularly talked about, in the 70s, when I grew up. So just, different time. And we're going to talk about community and entrepreneurship. So one of the dangers that I've seen with black entrepreneurship in a white supremacist society is that they get mad at you. If they see that black businesses are taking more money away from their businesses, they're coming after you. Capitalism is no joke, and it will always protect itself. So with us as entrepreneurs, we have to be really smart, and we can't just sell to just our, people. We're going to have to be able to be available for everyone, to purchase our goods and to be just in that level of market. We would encourage one another that before you would spend your dollar somewhere else, that you would consider a reputable black business first in your purchasing power. So, looking at Tulsa, there's a lesson there, and we can't afford to ignore that lesson. White people will come and burn your stuff down, and instead of stuff, I would have said another word. They will come burn it down before they will see you prosper in front of them. And it's just the way, we have to tell certain truths about the society that we're living in, and that's one of them. And I'm sure there are other examples in history, but I'm going to use Tulsa as our main example to get that point across. And I continue. Sam Cedar actually did a episode about Wilmington, North Carolina, and how white people in that community literally took it over and ran the black businesses, black politicians, black independence out of its midst. And we're going to talk about the reckoning that's going to happen, with white Christian America. They have caused a lot of problems. And based on those problems, they have a high price that they're going to have to pay for the problems that they've created. And so I'm going to, get into that. Today is just, really kind of an overview and of what, we're going to be talking about. And so to round out our discussion, I'm going to play this sound from a guy named O'Shea Duke Jackson. I listened to some of his stuff, but I thought that this was really a good commentary, so I'm going to share it, with you guys right now.
Those guys, all right? But the reason why we love the smoke sessions and the roast sessions with these other immigrants and other groups, I'm going to tell you why that is. Because that's the only power that we have. Because many of us are living in the past. And I'm going to say some things that's going to make y'all upset. And as an African American, for the people who done things for me, those who set the standard for my life, my great-grandmother came from Natchitoches, Louisiana during the Great Migration to California, as well as my grandmother. My other grandmother came from Bastrop, Louisiana. See, they didn't have the opportunities that I have to be able to go to school. You know, my mother went to UC Davis. She was the first benefactor of what happened in the Great Migration. Because, see, those people did something for us so that I can benefit now. A lot of people argue on the FBA hashtag ADOS. We built this country? No. Our ancestors were the ones that did that. We haven't done nothing in the last 30 years. That's why we're living in the past. And everybody else is living in the present. And we're getting our asses kicked. So because we don't teach people how to treat us, because we as a black community don't work with our brothers and sisters, because we don't treat our black women and our black men with respect. And
Passion got your business off the ground. But passion doesn't...
Sorry about that, guys.
And I'm guilty of that at times. Okay, I've done that. You see, when they come over here and they see how we treat each other, then they start treating us like we treat ourselves. And then we want to get mad, talk about words of disrespect. Because we're not doing what the forefathers told us to do. We didn't follow what John Henry Clark told us to do. We didn't do what Amos Wilson told us to do. We did what we wanted to do. And now people are coming over here who are more disciplined than us, beating us at their own game. Now they want to be mad at them. And I get it. We can go back and roast them. But you know what that's showing? That we don't have no real power because all we got is a roast. We told them off. You think that's going to change how the way Ethiopians feel? How Somalians feel? I'll tell you what. I got a better solution. And I appreciate the work that the brother Tariq Nasheed was able to do, because he was able to get $2 million from a sleeping giant, and we got more to give to do things to develop our community. So that's just a little, that was light work. And he did that with only 150-something thousand subscribers here on YouTube. But you know what we need to do? Instead of going back and forth with these little roast sessions, how about you start pulling your people up every day? How about you start creating opportunity with your people? How about you start going into business with your people and elevating the standard so that our people can respect it? How about you start doing that, all right? Like the Jews do, like Chinese people do. They make sure their people can get in high positions. They get the skills qualified necessary for people to respect them. So when people dish you, you have what the Jewish have, the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League. Because, see, they ain't got to go on Twitter and roast folks. You see, because you know better than to talk to them crazy, right? Because their people own industries. See, we have a lot of situations and stuff like here in America that we could be doing, pulling our people into those things. Our HBCUs, we don't support them. We haven't had a new medical school in Black America since 1972. But now here we are wanting to roast other people. Now, I get that. We can do it, and it might be warranted when people talk too much trash. But at the end of the day, it's not going to make them change how you feel about you. You need more productive African Americans, because we've had African Americans in the city of Philadelphia running the city, in the city of Detroit running the city. We've had the opportunities in Memphis, in Jackson, Mississippi, and we all know how that turned out. You see, if we really want to have a conversation, then why are we at the bottom? What are we doing that keeps us at the bottom? I'm not worried about what 2 or 3 million Africans may or may not be saying about me, or even Hispanic. I don't even listen to that. I don't care anything about that. Because I know my people are a very special people. If you don't like us, I just don't care. Because you know what? When I come to Africa and I'm carrying the African-American brand, I'm getting a lot of love because of what people have done for me in my life, because of the success that our folks had in the past. Are you living that success? Because you know what? The life I'm living right now, my grandma couldn't live this life. My mom wasn't able to live this life. But because of what my family and what the people before did for me, even when I was in the 13, 14, we had deacons at our church that had came all the way from, Mobile, Alabama, and Jackson, Mississippi, and Little Rock, Arkansas, places like that, parts of Tennessee, that moved because they came to McClellan Air Force Base in North Highlands, and they came in the Navy and things like that. And they talk to young black men like me, want me to be somebody. Can you imagine them having some roast sessions with people because they don't like them? It is your job to pull your people up, and then you make people respect you because you pulled your people up, not because you roasted them to death, but because you pulled them up. And you respect your people, you respect your legacy, you respect your businesses, you respect your economy. Is it their fault that our money stays in the black community for 6 hours and it leaves? That ain't their fault. That's our fault. So when somebody says that black women have, all these kids out of wedlock, and they mention it, is it our fault? And we get mad. Of course,